Hello, this is a demo for the version 31 LTI 1.3 external tools epic. So we start here at an admin system level, and I'm an account admin, and I see this new link to manage LTI 1.3 external tools. So I'm going to click on that. And now here I have a table, much like other ones when like adding an LMS. So I can add a tool here at the system level and I can remove it. So let's see here. Right now, this form doesn't have like the appropriate information because the dev that works on it is going to fill that in, but it'll look like this structure. I'm going to add the tool's information. If I wanted to remove a tool, I'm going to get a confirmation that removing this tool from all active course sections is going to happen. It might change and the affected pages. So that is basically the first step, is adding the tool at a system level. From there, as an author, I can add the tool at a project level. So I'll see in my project overview page, there's this new LTI tools section. I can add tools and I can select from what has been added at a system level. And this is just to kind of mitigate different risk of, adding whatever tools people want. So right now for this first iteration, you will need to be an admin or the help of an admin. Then we just have some directions here telling you that, when you insert a tool, it's going to inherit the property of that page, so a scored or practice page. And that basically, if you want to see a new tool added to the list for the first iteration, you can contact our support and our admins. So I'm going to select Gradescope as an example throughout this. This isn't something that we have added yet, it's just an example. And now I can see here, like this would say Gradescope. This is just some filler text, but I have the LTI tools added to my section that I want to use in this course. And I also can see the deployment ID just in case I would need that anywhere else. So now I can go into a page and I can choose the content type LTI. And I can choose if I want this tool to launch in a new window. This will probably be checked for by default because typically you do want that, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want it to have like an iframe view. And then I can go in there and I can see, okay, there's the Gradescope that I added at a project level. I'm going to select it and add the tool. So for this first iteration, we're not going to have the ability to preview the tool in our platform. However, like the instructor version of the tool is just going to load for you if you are an instructor role. But you can add learning objectives to the tool, and we have a reminder here that if you are editing an external tool that may affect published courses, like there's no act of, publishing the tool, it's just kind of this outside factor. And then if a tool gets removed at system level, then you are going to be notified of that on the page. And hopefully, if not in this first iteration, in further work, we would have a check for this in our auditing section. So now let's go to the instructor side of this because there is no context for a project, so I can't configure the tool unless I have a course section. So now I'm an instructor. I'm in my course section and I see this link to external tools. I will have a page then kind of telling me like what these are, and I can expand it, I can search it. Now, I can't tell if a tool has been configured or not because tourists cannot tell since it is external. But if the instructor is aware that, say, one tool needs setup and one tool is just a calculator that's like an iframe on the page, they know, I don't really have to do anything with that. But let's say, for example, Gradescope, I have to set something up, so I can click on one of these pages. It'll open up to where the tool is. And I can, for this example, I have it loading in an external page. So it would then open up the instructor view of this, and I can kind of configure what needs to be configured. So that's just showing that, and with Canvas as the example here. To the student side of things, it would just look like how it did for the instructor, except for it will load the student view. Or it would be in an iframe if you didn't check to load in an external tab. And then how viewing data would work is that we would put an icon next to anything that is an external tool, just so we know whenever you're looking at the grades that are passed back, that this wasn't something that was in Taurus, this was external. When you're viewing an attempt of something, it will likely take you to that tools version of it. Right now I'm using Gradescope as well. Here we have it in scored activities, just showing the icon. And most of this should load, but for whatever is not passed back, for example, maybe progress, we will have like an NA section there. Practice activities, same thing. And that is pretty much it for the external tools in the first iteration. If you have any questions, please direct them to me, Jess Fortunato. Thanks.